What's good, everyone? It's Blackbeard What Ifs back with another video, and this is part 2 of What If Naruto was a symbiote. Now, if you all have any ideas, leave them in the comments. If you all just have any feedback for how my video was, if you liked it or not, put that in the comments. And yeah, if you like my videos, hit the like. If you really like it, hit that subscribe button. And with that out of the way, well, let's get into the video. So, if I remember correctly, where we left off, Kakashi was asking Tazuna if Naruto could to come to the Leaf with them. As you know, uh Tazuna gives Kakashi just this look, and he's just like, "Run that by me again." As Kakashi's like, "Can can Toxin here? Can he come to the Leaf? We could use someone like him in the Leaf." As Tazuna, he's about to say no, but then Naruto holds out his hand. As all of a sudden, Naruto would, like, all of a sudden, he would just have a mouth would open on his face as he would start speaking, and he's like, "Well, I'll come with you under one condition. And that condition is that it's not just me that's going. It's me, Tazuna, Inari, and Tsunami. Tazuna's whole family. They're all coming with." As, Sasuke's about to say something. He's like, "You can't just speak to us like that." As immediately Kakashi's like, "Okay, that's fine." As Sasuke just kind of looks at Kakashi and he's like, "What?" As he's like, "Shush, Sasuke." As Sasuke just gets a little angry and he walks away. And he's like, "All right, well, do we have a deal, Toxin?" As Naruto would put out his hand and they would shake on it, and he's like, "Yeah, we do. But keep in mind, if anything happens to us, if anything happens to Inari or anyone in Tazuna's family, as Naruto would bulk up and everything, and the blades would come out, he would point them at Kakashi as he would say, 'I will rip the Leaf to shreds if anything happens to them.'" As immediately Kakashi's like, okay, nothing's gonna happen to him. I promise. I promise on my life and on my students' life, nothing's gonna happen to them as long as we're here. As he transforms back, and he's like, "Okay, then we have nothing to worry about." So they all start walking and everything, or they start walking towards the Leaf and everything. And while they're walking, Hinata's just kind of looking at Naruto, and she's like, "What is he? He's strange." And, like, basically, no, she's just staring at me, and she's like, "Hold on, let me try something." Byakugan, as she activates her Byakugan, and she stares at Naruto, and she tries to look again. Even though, like, she already looked once, she's trying to look again to see if she missed something, but no. She still sees the same chakra veins, so that is his body. That's what he looks like. It's not like a suit or anything. That's actually him. As, like, Naruto, he feels that he's getting stared at, so he turns and he looks at her and he's like, "Is there anything you need?" As she's like, "Oh, no, no." And she's like, "All right then, whatever floats your boat." As he starts walking and he's walking and going, and eventually they make it to the Hidden Leaf with with Inari on Naruto's shoulders and Tazuna and Tsunami right next to him and whatnot. But they make it to the Leaf and everything. They go to the Hokage mansion where they meet Hiruzen. Hiruzen talks with Naruto and everything. And what like what they managed to get from Naruto, just information wise, is that he was a test subject of Orochimaru. But that's all he can remember. He can't really remember anything past being in that lab. Like, basically, this is all Naruto can remember. He can remember the lab, and he can just remember, like, he can remember Orochimaru's face, he can remember being in the lab, and the next thing he remembers, he's outside looking like this. Just looking like Toxin. And, Hiruzen is, a little bit skeptical about, like, why that of everything is all he remembers, but he's like, okay, we we need someone else to be on this team, seeing how some of the other teams are a little bit overstaffed as well. I don't want you all to be at a disadvantage, as like basically what keeps happening, or not what, yeah, like basically what keeps happening is Team 7 gets kind of bullied by every other team, which then in turn makes them bully Hinata. And Naruto's there, one, to protect Hinata, and two, to basically keep the rest of the team from getting bullied and keep them from bullying. So uh basically, when after that, Naruto's like, okay, I see no problem with that, as you know Naruto's like, okay, well, come on then, Hinata, is that your name? As she's like, yeah. And they walk off, and Naruto's just kind of talking with her and everything, getting to know her and whatnot. When all of a sudden, a bottle is like getting flung towards her, as also Naruto he turns his arm into a sword and he just slashes the bottle in half, causing it, like, yeah, he just slashed it in half, and everyone turns to see who threw the bottle. When they see, basically Neji being kind of a dickhead, just throwing bottles at him and whatnot. Or throwing bottles at Hinata, or trying to. And the thing is with Naruto. No, I'm just gonna say one little thing about Naruto's anatomy right now. Um, to anyone who's seen Venom 2, Naruto is kind of like that. Like, have you all seen like how Carnage transforms, or how Cletus transforms into Carnage? That's basically how Naruto transforms. It's not like a mask copy type thing. It's more of a just when we transform whenever the heck we feel like it. There's no agreement or anything, because there's no, like, yeah, there's just no agreement to it. That's about it. And basically what ends up happening is like, and along with Naruto's anatomy of like how he transforms and everything, his chakra veins is all going throughout his body, but it all stops, and like it all comes to a stop towards his stomach, his abdomen. But it all stops and comes to a huge blue cluster around his stomach. So basically he has no chakra points other than that one main spot, but he doesn't use chakra, so he don't really care. And that's basically how Naruto. That's basically what Naruto's anatomy is like. And what happens to Naruto, or like what happens is Neji keeps talking a whole lot of smack about Hinata and how much of a useless Hyuga she is and whatnot, and she's starting to cry. So Naruto, he gets a little bit mad about this. So he walks up and he just straight up decks Neji straight in the face. Just hits him with a clean right hook to his noggin. And that sends Neji back a little, as he gets up and he's like, you can't touch me. I'm the Hyuga prodigy. As he gets in a stance as he activates his Byakugan. He's like, this is your punishment for choosing to touch me. As he starts running towards Naruto, and he looks to see where the main point is, which is, the the center of his stomach, like I said, and he hits Naruto there as Naruto just stands there looking at him without a care in the world as he looks down as he raises his hand and he turns his arm into a huge hammer and just slams it right onto Neji's back, which just instant KO. He sleep after that one. He gone. Like he is out like a light. And oh wait, hold on, give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So after that happens, everyone in the town that saw that, they all just basically watched Neji get folded by Naruto. Like this man just got absolutely folded. It was not fun to watch. So, they're starting to look at Naruto and they're like, what was that for? He's like, he literally just, like Naruto turns and he's like, he literally just threw a bottle at someone. Now, man, if that was your kid, what would you all do? As they're like, well, I would probably hurt the one that did it. As he's like, exactly. Now, if you all do not mind, shut up, and we're gonna keep moving on. As everyone just quiets down. As Naruto, he just kind of walks away, looking real awesome. Like, I mean, tell me, like, look at this and tell me that Toxin isn't awesome. I mean, look at this man. He cool. Like, there ain't nothing you can do to beat that. And basically Naruto, he's just kind of walking around with Hinata. They're getting food and everything. They're calming down. She was a little bit spooked when they got food because, well, that's when she saw what his full mouth is like and long tongue and everything. So yeah, she was a little bit scared, but she's all right now. And basically after all that, Naruto and Hinata would go meet up with Team 7 as Kakashi's like, okay, so here's what I got to ask you guys. So there's this thing coming up called the tuning exams where you can become like I said, you can become a tuning. So is there anything, like, is there any what do you call it, does anyone not want to do this, or like, do you guys want to do this or not? As immediately class 1A is just like, or not class 1A, Team 7, they're all like, yes. Even Naruto, because he just wants to fight, he's like, all right, yeah, sure, I don't mind, let's do this. As Naruto afterwards would talk with, like, basically afterwards they're like, okay, well, now what? As he's like, well, you all can go train or whatnot until then. As Naruto's like, all right, Hinata, come on, fight me. As she gets in the Hyuga stance, and while they're fighting and everything, they're like, Hinata's doing pretty bad at the moment, but it can be better. Like, it could be worse, basically. That it could be worse, but it could also be better. That's basically how she's doing right now. She's not terrible, but she's down there. And Naruto, he basically teaching her, he's like, you're moving way too slow and you're moving way too predictable. As he's like, okay, I think I've got a good gist on your fighting style. Now, watch me. As Naruto would get near a tree, as he would get in a stance, and then he would just proceed to absolutely lay out. Like, he would just put holes in that tree. And this is only with him getting a glimpse of the fighting style. Like, just fighting with Hinata for a couple minutes, he got a glimpse of it. And now he's over here busting holes in trees. And no, it's those thick trees. Like, those trees that have, like, many layers, and each layer is, like, harder than the last one. That's basically what Naruto just punched through. With minimal effort. So, Hinata's looking at him, and she's like, how did you do that? It took my father years before he could do stuff like that. As Naruto's like, well, I'm not your father, am I? And I could teach you how to do the same thing. She's like, really? Yes. He's like, mm-hmm. Now, come on, get in the stance. Like, come on, get in a stance and just kind of Like get in a certain stance and just kind of come at me, or get in this stance and come at me. As she gets in the same stance, he's like, all right. So what you need to do is right before you hit it, pump as much chakra into your hands as you can, like to the point where you're coating your hands in chakra. And she's like, okay, and like, she tries it and she hits Naruto and she actually sends him back. Like she flings that dude back. Like he flings back, he skids across the ground. He's like, whoa, all right, you actually hit hard. And like the place where she hit him is like giving off steam, like a little bit of smoke from how hard she hit him. And she's like, and he's like, okay, all right. Now then, what you need to do is like, pump as much chakra into your hands, and then try to mold that chakra. As she's, she's trying to do that more and more, and he's like, okay, so this is what you're gonna do. I'm gonna go home, or I'm gonna go find some place to sleep, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna train. We he's Kakashi said that we have a week until then, so you're gonna train for this whole week on how to do that attack. All right, as basically what ends up happening is um as like Hinata's like, okay, and Naruto is like, all right, well, I'll see you later, and he just like goes off into the forest, hops in a tree, and then just goes to sleep. Now we're gonna do a time skip to the end of the week, and by the end of it, they're all ready to do their thing, as they're walking towards the main place where it's happening, when all of a sudden Naruto would like hear a kid screaming and whatnot. Like the kid screaming, "Put me down, put me down." As no Naruto would go off to where that's happening, and he would see someone, like he would see what's his name? Uh uh the puppet dude. I can't remember his name. He would see the puppet guy holding up Konohamaru, or Konohamaru. I don't know how to pronounce his name. All right, don't judge me, okay, guys. But Naruto sees this happening, and Naruto's like, "Hey, put him down." As no, the puppet guy would just look at him. He's like, "Or what? What are you gonna do about it?" As instantly Naruto's in front of the puppet guy, and he just kicks him into a wall and grabs the kid, sets him down. As instantly, before Tamara could even grab her, or like Big Fan, Naruto just like uses a web, like he shoots out a web and grabs the fan and pulls it towards him, as he sets down the ground. And uh I know where sand starts coming towards Naruto, as Naruto would grab Konohamaru, and he would jump off, like he would do a backflip out of the way, when all of a sudden Gar would come down, and he's like, "Why'd you attack my siblings?" As Naruto's like, "Well, you should have saw what happened. You were standing up there the whole time, looking like a bat with your weird head at." But Naruto, like, basically, Naruto kept that last bit to himself, but, uh, like, basically, that's what Naruto says. Like, you should have seen it. I mean, you were standing there the whole time. And, you know, both of the other siblings, they look at Gaara and they're like, wait, really? You were there? As he's like, yes, you fools, I was. As, they kind of get a pretty, like, scared look on their face, when all of a sudden, Naruto sticks out his hand. He's like, you can call me Toxin. As in return, Gaara would stick out his hand. He's like, you can call me Gaara. And when they shake hands, they can both hear this roar, just this roar full of anger, as they both immediately let go and they back up a little. And he's like, so that's what you have within you, huh? No wonder you can control sand. Okay. As Naruto would just walk away. Naruto would walk away with Konohamaru, as Gaara standing there, and he's like, him. He's the one I want. I need his blood now. As right, like as soon as that happens, uh, no, Naruto takes Saratobi's grandkid, third Hokage's grandkid, to takes him to the like I don't know Hokage mansion or whatever, so the kid can be watched over. And right after that happens, right after that happens, Naruto would go to the training exams where Sasuke and Sakura are like, "Where were you? You're late." As Naruto's like, "Well, last I checked, they never said this started now, so I can come at any moment I want." As no, they start gritting their teeth and they're like, "Yeah, whatever," and they start walking away. And when they walk away, like Naruto's like, yeah, that's why your whole clan dead, and that's why the other one's clan is useless. Don't even know how that's a clan. As both of them hear that, and they're about to turn around, but right as they turn around, right as they turn around, all of a sudden, uh, Brock Lee appears, and Brock Lee he looks towards Naruto, and he's like, you look strong. My name's Rock Lee. I challenge you to a fight. As Naruto's like, you don't want to do that. As they're all as they're like, what do you mean? As no, Hinata sticks up for him, and it's like he is actually very strong, like quite strong. As as Broccoli is like, well, that just makes me want to fight him even more. And Broccoli, he looks towards Naruto and he's like, please, I'm begging you, can you please fight me? As Naruto's like, okay, your funeral, kid. As Broccoli would get in his signature stance, one hand behind his back, the other hand in front and whatnot, with his legs, kind of spread open. As instantly Naruto would literally get into the Hyuga fighting stance, and he's like, okay, come at me. As in an instant, Rock Lee would rush towards Naruto, but then Naruto would just hit Rock Lee 3 times in the chest. Just tap him 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And instantly, Rock Lee's eyes would just go blank as he falls straight on the ground, leaving everyone scared because they are all wondering, what the heck did this man just do? As Ten walks up to Rock Lee and whatnot, and Ten's like, or not walks up. Ten run like full on sprinting, runs up to Rock Lee, checks his pulse and everything, and she's like, "What do you do to him?" As he's like, "Oh, I just simply paralyzed him for a moment." As immediately Neji's looking at him, he's like, "That was the Hyuga fighting style. How do you know that? How do you know that fighting style?" As basically what ends up happening, Neji's about to say something, but then Naruto's like, I don't want to talk to you right now. And he just walks off, leaving Neji quite pissed. As Naruto walks off, he's talking to Tamari, and he's like, so, did you do it? Or not Tamari, he's talking to Hinata, and he's like, so, did you train? And she's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, okay, well then, if that's the case, we're going to have a whole lot of fun. Because that means you may actually be able to beat your cousin if you have to. If you have to fight him, that is. You'll be able to beat him. As immediately Naruto would he would walk, well not walk, he would walk off and everything, or he would walk into a room where they get started on the first part of the exam. As Ibiki would come in and he would tell everyone, he's like, okay, this is the first part where you all are taking a test. Now, what's going to happen is if you all fail the test, or if you all get caught cheating, you have to leave. As you know, everything happens. Sasuke cheating and whatnot. Sakura actually using her brains, and Naruto using a mix of both. Because he's connecting one of his tendrils, being sneaky, of course. He's connecting one of his tendrils to someone's body and then taking the information from them. Also, he's using his regular knowledge as well. So basically, for the stuff he doesn't know how to do, he steals the information from someone else. But for what he does know how to do, he just writes that down on his own. So, you know, after that, Ibiki's like, okay, so now here comes the final part of the exam, where this is one question, and if you get this question wrong, you are not allowed to take the exam anymore. Like, you are forbidden from it. As half of the people, they just dip. They're gone. Like, they're out. And you know, Team 7, Sakura, she's starting to get a little worried, so she don't know. She's about to get up as immediately Naruto just puts a hand on her shoulder and sits her right back down. He's like, nah, you're not chickening out on us yet, forehead. As immediately Naruto, he would also sit down next to Hinata. As Ibiki's like, okay, well, it seems like the rest of you all want the question. So the question is nothing. As everyone just gets this blank stare in their face, they're like, what? As Ibiki's like, yeah, it was nothing. There was no test. Or there was no secret question. Or final question. I was just testing to see how much you all really wanted to become ninjas. As right after that happens, Naruto's like, I figured as such. And then, someone comes bursting through the windows, throwing kunai into the ceiling, holding up her banner. As she stands up and she's like, my name's Anko Mutarashi, and I want you all to meet me at the Forest of Death in 5 minutes. Now go, you maggots. As they all start running except for Naruto, who's just like casually walking without a care in the world. And of course, we make it to this part of the exam, as you all know. And Naruto's basically just kind of not paying attention while Anko's explaining what's happening. As instantly, she sees this and she gets a little bit ticked off as she throws a kunai, and before it could even touch Naruto, one of his tendrils grab it and throw it back at her. Now it cuts her cheek as all of a sudden Naruto would appear next to her and he would open his mouth, showing that, like I said, incredibly long tongue, which is about as long as about a Starbucks cup. Think think of I can't remember the name of the biggest Starbucks cup, but think of how big that cup is, and that's kind of how long Naruto's tongue is. And he literally just licks the blood from her face as he's like, you taste good. As he just kind of walks away, leaving her not only blushing, but scared at the same time. Because she's like, one, that was hot. Two, how did he get behind me without me noticing? And how fast is he? As instantly, Naruto walks back and they're all looking at it. They're all looking at him. He walks up and everything. He sits down, or not sits down. He stands next to Hinata. And she's like, dude, you literally just had Anko Mutarashi blushing. As he's like, yeah, I guess I did. As Hinata would just be like, oh my god, you're something else entirely. And she would just go back to listening as he's like, you're so right. You are so right, Hinata. As, after everything happens, or after Anko's done explaining, they get a Earth Scroll. As, Naruto's like, alright, well, we need a Heaven Scroll. Let's get it done. As, they're about to get, Anko's like, alright, when I say so, you all can get started. 3, 2, 1, go, 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 go. As they as doors open and they all just start sprinting in, like they all just bolt. And as they're running from tree to tree, or let me rephrase that, Naruto and Hinata are running from tree to tree. Everyone else is on the ground because, yeah, Naruto didn't teach them how to do stuff like that, how to move quickly. So Naruto starts like sensing stuff incoming as he grabs Hinata and he jumps out of the way when all of a sudden a paper bomb comes flying next to him and hits a tree where it explodes, and Naruto jumps down with Team 7 when all of a sudden this very weird looking lady would pop up. And she would, point towards what's his name? She would point towards Sasuke as she says, "Give me Sasuke Uchiha." As immediately Naruto's like, "Okay, I remember that voice. I don't like it at all. I don't like that one bit." As Naruto's like, "All right, okay, that's not happening, but all right." As Naruto gets in a fighting stance, when all of a sudden one of Naruto's tendrils wrap around Sasuke and just throws Sasuke straight at the mysterious person, the mysterious lady, and hits her straight in the stomach, which causes her to go back. As immediately Naruto grabs Sasuke, pulls him back over, and Naruto's like, and not Naruto, Sasuke's like, what the hell was that for? As Naruto's like, you should be thanking me. We backed her up enough for us to get ready. As Sakura, she gets in she pulls out a kunai uh as what's his name? Crap, I can't remember it. Sasuke, he gets in a fighting stance as Naruto gets in her Hyuga fighting stance, and Naruto, he just gets ready, he just has his hands up and he's just waiting. And the thing is, Naruto has been doing some, how would you put it? Well, yeah, he's been practicing using chakra. Like, yeah, he's been practicing using chakra. So, and Naruto's chakra is a lot different from everyone else. It's not blue, it's like kind of orangish and very fiery because of the QB's influence on him, but because of his mindset, the way it is, he cannot be easily influenced. So, it's kind of like the QB's giving him energy only for it to not really do anything. So, Naruto, he gets in a fighting stance. He has his hands up and everything. As Orochimaru, well, yeah, that's basically who it is. Orochimaru comes out and he tries to grab at Naruto. As immediately Naruto raises his leg with his leg, kind of heating up in a way. Now I can't say the name of the attack because copyright and all that. I'm not trying to deal with it. So just from me explaining it, what is this attack that Naruto uses? He has his hands up. He raises his leg with his leg looking like it's heating up and whatnot. As he immediately just sends a flaming kick towards he sends like a flaming kick towards what's his name? Towards crap, I really can't think of their name right now. He sends a flaming kick towards Orochimaru. And well, yeah. Just tell me who uses this attack. Basically, I'll say, this is not the actual name of the attack, but I'll just say, what it is at the moment. As he just says something like, flambe shot, and just, hits him, just clean kicks Orochimaru straight in the throat, sends him back and everything, as Naruto drops his leg back, and he turns his arm into a blade, or, he makes a blade, come from his forearm, and he starts running towards Orochimaru, and he's slashing Orochimaru right now. He is cutting this man up. When Orochimaru pulls out a sword and he's about to slash at Naruto, when Naruto gets on he gets in a handstand and blocks the attack with his foot, and then does the splits and hits Orochimaru with his other leg, because he's like basically kind of twirling with his legs open in a split, like in a like he's doing the splits but spinning. And Naruto, he's hitting Orochimaru with that whole combo, and it's knocking that dude back. So Orochimaru, he slides back and he's like, uh, as immediately he's like, this kid's getting way too powerful. I can't seem to remember why he looks like that, but it looks familiar. As Naruto would cover his arm in spikes, as he would punch Orochimaru in the stomach, causing him to spit up blood, and he would send Orochimaru back. As Hinata would come in and hit Orochimaru with a few attacks, closing some chakra points before she gets kicked back. Not Orochimaru. Sasuke would come in and hit Orochimaru with a fireball before getting kicked back. And basically, all of Team 7 is getting it's just whooping Orochimaru. And before anything happened, Orochimaru's like, alright, this is the final chance I have. As Orochimaru would, like, kick Naruto back and then stretch out he would kick Naruto back and then kick back Sasuke before reaching out his, he would, reach out, like his head would stretch out and everything. As it would look like he's about to bite Sasuke, as immediately Naruto would jump in, push Sasuke out of the way, and he would get bitten on the neck. Like Naruto would get a huge bite mark on his neck, as Naruto would drop down in pain, just wreathing in agony, and he's like, As Orochimaru was like, crap, that was the only one I had. Oh well, as he just does a summoning jutsu, like a reverse summoning jutsu, and he just nopes out of there. And while Orochimaru's getting out of there, he's like, whatever. He might be a better vessel than the Uchiha anyway. As Naruto is like, like I said, breathing in pain and everything. Sasuke is like basically out of chakra. He's worn out. He literally has just enough chakra to live. And Naruto is essentially like just kind of, he's in pain. As Naruto gets back up, he grabs the other scroll that what's his name has. He has the other scroll that Orochimaru had. He grabbed it. As he's like, alright, we got both of them. Now let's go. As Naruto's making his way and everything, but they stop to take a break and everything as Naruto's in pain. And that's when they all get ambushed by the Sound Ninja. As they're shooting sounds and whatnot. Sasuke, he's bleeding from the ears, along with Sakura. Hinata, she's like knocked out. When all of a sudden they would basically see Naruto, or they would see Toxin, but, well, hold on, let me show you all what he looks like. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So basically, Naruto, he